If you want the bottom line for this video, basically, it's all about money. Or, of course, it's all about money, isn't it? So they don't make money on EVs. The numbers actually quite shocking. So Ford revealed the other day they lost 47,000 US dollars on every electric vehicle they sold last year. I'm not even kidding. So when they reconcile their data and their figures, which I'll get into in a moment, in the second and third quarter of last year, they lost 32 and 36,000 US dollars respectively on every car sold. That shot up in the last quarter of last year to $47,000. And as a business, I'm sure they feel a bit terrified, or at least they will be thinking about a resolution, but with an undercurrent of nerves, probably. So because the whole world is going electric in the future, and Ford's start so far has been pretty ropey, and they know it's coming, this electric wave. You know, it's already started, of course. Jim Farley, he's the CEO of Ford. He told the investors recently at an investors meeting, hybrids will play an increasing role in Ford's success in the near future, and that EVs are a danger to their success. He actually said that, a danger to their success, simply because they're not doing very well at it. He exaggerated that EVs are great at the same time. So I don't know why he said that. I've watched the footage too, because it was recorded. In their defense, they do make some great EVs, actually some of the best EVs in my opinion, but the demographic for example, the F-150 Lightning is wrong for electric vehicles. I said this last year. It's full of blokes that want diesels, V8s, massive loud trucks, dirt tyres, a snorkel on it, in case they ever get stuck in a rainstorm or something. They've got snorkels so they could wade through it. That's typically the demographic. Not, I mean, that's a generalization, but generalizations can be quite fun, so there's nothing wrong with it. But it is generally, that's the sort of person that buys a ute or a truck like that. It's not someone who likes to be wafting around silently. You know, it's quite obvious. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks here. So the Mach-E is a brilliant car, but I think it's a bit niche. It's really, really nice. I've always liked it. There's a history of the Ford Mustang being a V8 muscle car, for example, and now it's sort of come along, hasn't it, as this modern EV called the Mustang Mach-E, you know, with the prancing horse and the sort of sharp, pointy look about it. A typical demographic for Ford don't want an EV. If you take a look at the global demographic, the data is out there. Ford give you this data. So that's not to say that they haven't got an audience, and some people that are cashed up enough, you know, to buy their EVs won't buy their EVs. But you know, they've sold loads of them, of course. Even though the Ford F-150 Lightning is not my cup of tea, I still think it's really, really nice. Really, really nice. If there was a pickup truck that I would have, then it would probably be the Ford F-150 Lightning or the Rivian. I'm a bit unsure, actually. Probably the Ford, though. So thank you very much for tuning in, folks. Today's video is obviously about Ford and Toyota and about how well they're doing or not doing, depends who you're talking about. I'm Ben Alexander, and I make these videos talking about the latest EV news from all over the world. So please feel free to subscribe and press the little icon next to it to select notifications and turn them on, because that is not default, and you would expect when you subscribe that you are actually literally subscribing, and that's not the case. So I appreciate all of you taking the time to watch, so feel free to comment afterwards with any of your thoughts. I'm here this month in the UK. It's been an interesting month, actually. I won't get into the details. I was in Scandinavia last month. Before that, I was in Australia. So I'll probably get back to Australia in the coming months to do some house renovations. And then after that, I'll be going probably back to Europe after so many months. I'm not so sure when. Australia is really nice in the winter, not so nice in the summer. It's really intense, I think. So it's much easier to do house stuff when it isn't roasting hot, especially if the work you've got to do is on the roof, for example, or point a chimney or whatever, like I'll have to do. So I'm pretty sure the tin roof as well, I think that needs fixing before I can get some solar installed on it. Last year, Ford's EV division, called the Model E division, lost 4.7 billion US dollars, but they have also said that they expect all their losses to go up to 5 or 5.5 as a high end by the end of this year, 2024. So last year, just to give you some numbers, they sold 34,000 vehicles and lost $1.6 billion in their last quarter, showing that their Model E division, their electric car section of Ford, lost $47,000 on each vehicle sold in the last quarter. Even though Ford as a whole made a huge profit over the course of the year, I think it was like 30 billion. So they won't be going bankrupt as fast as Fisker, that's for sure. So at some point, Ford need to turn a profit in their EV sales, don't they? But literally, as some companies have been succeeding, Ford have been progressively losing more and more and more money as the last few years have literally gone on. So you can't hide from the public data. They share it and they stand on a stage and tell you it. So on Tuesday just gone, Toyota also had some really interesting stuff to say. For example, they said that hybrids are flying off of the sales lot, and that's partly because of their limited production. They can't produce them fast enough, is actually a quote. We can't produce them fast enough. I've noticed a really big jump actually in the presence of Toyota hybrids, or hybrids in general, but Toyota hybrids, particularly the Toyota RAV4 hybrids, all over the place. And I understand why. They're a fantastic car. So if you take the RAV4 hybrid, it uses as much fuel as a regular hatchback 4-cylinder, a small car like a Jazz, as much as that. So I obviously prefer battery electric vehicles, but hybrids are absolutely a part of this transition, even if we as battery electric vehicle enthusiasts want to ignore the role that hybrids will play in converting the unconverted to battery electric vehicles. To buy, when they buy a hybrid, you can bet that they will be looking for an EV as one of their next cars, if not considering one, hence why they're known as merging technology. Hybrids are very important. It's just like the data which shows that when people buy an EV, I think this is old data, so it might be changed, I don't know now, it might be different. When people buy an EV, 80% of the owners that buy them look into getting solar panels within the first 12 months, I think it is, or is it 2 years? So Akio Toyoda, he's the former CEO of Toyota. He's actually a descendant of, I think, the original person that started Toyota, actually. He basically said that Toyota will never entirely focus on battery electric vehicles like they have in the West. They're not going to do that. I respect that. I think that's a good business approach, isn't it? That's good business acumen. Ford had said that they hope to turn an 8% profit by early 2026, but he also said recently at the investors meeting, this is now clear, they can't expect that to happen. That is unrealistic. He said they would invest more money in high demand hybrids because that's where they are making way more money per vehicle. Well, they can't make less, can they? Because $47,000 per vehicle is tragic. So I'm paraphrasing some of this, of course. Ford's CFO, I believe Chief Financial Officer, did say that they are not abandoning EVs but waiting for the customer demand to grow before releasing their quote-unquote second-generation EVs. The Ford Escape that I showed you at the Everything Electric show has been announced with a 350-mile range, which is great. It's only the size of a Cooper Born or an ID3 or a Volkswagen Golf. So it isn't huge at all. I would imagine that they will quite possibly be using LFP chemistry. I don't know. This is not confirmed. They signed a huge deal, as you know, possibly you might know, with China's CATL. If they price this reasonably and actually build them and manage to make some profit from them and then deliver them, I think they'll make some good money from this and really make a dent, because the next cars that they will sell, they might gain a bit of brand loyalty. I believe it's down to their business acumen. As to how they're going to do well if they do well in this transition. They predict they will have their most profitable year this year, making somewhere around 30.3 billion, thank you to their hybrid vehicle sales. And that's profit as well. That's not, before taking off costs and stuff. So their Model E division that manages the EV side of Ford is deep, really deep in the red. There's some really interesting graphs on this, and as we know, they only sold 17% of their predicted sales last year for the Lightning F-150. Over the past year, Toyota's share price has risen by 51%, and Ford's has gone down 10% in the last 12 months. So it deserves some inspection, I think. So I've had a look at this. What it appears like is Toyota they're not doing anything wrong. they're literally just serving their investors and selling the customers that have made them who they are the things that they want again and again and modifying them. They're sticking to that, while the rest of the world is going head on into EVs, and they're just they're reserved, I think, and I really hope that's not their undoing. They are a legacy manufacturer with probably the world's best reputation in vehicle space. In the vehicle space, sorry. Just a quick Google will confirm this if you think I'm chatting rubbish. They generally are, if you're watching YouTube or you look at data sheets or lists. Basically, Toyota always pretty much in the top two. They have a huge following from people such as me that up until recently have had an unwavering respect for Toyota's ability to produce fantastic cars that will work for years and years and years and that are intuitive to repair, built to good standards. And I know this sounds silly, but when the car is old, if it's easy to repair and rarely breaks, then it will go for years. And even when someone with very little money owns it for 20 years down the road, it's a lot cheaper to repair things when they're built like this. So Toyota are serving the people that have made them who they are today. And you can't fault them for doing this. This is what I would hope for a company to do. They are a great company, but they have bugger all EVs, basically, and this may be their undoing in the end. Whenever that is, I don't know. 30 years from now, I have no idea what position Toyota will be in, and I just hope they're still there making EVs of some sort. Or Toyota are making serious money from hybrids. Ford losing serious money from EVs. It's quite easy to see why they don't want to embrace EVs in this regard. But you have to consider the Chinese are settling in with their pretty fantastic cars around the world, and legacy manufacturers, frankly, they're like aging dinosaurs. It's kind of a bit scary if you're a person who likes Toyota. This is the new world. I'm thinking as I write this of something that a chap called Stefan said in the comments last year. Stefan from South Australia. I think he made some brilliant points. He wrote a couple of comments. And you made some really good comments about Toyota and what they're doing, which I won't repeat, but there are some brilliant comments on my videos. I recognize a lot of the names from people who watch time and time again, and then you write some really clever comments, and it's really interesting to read them. I love reading all the comments. I pretty much do it every day, and I probably spend 30-40 minutes every day literally reading the comments. It's quite interesting, honestly. It doesn't matter if you agree, disagree, like or don't like the video. It doesn't really matter. I'm just quite chuffed that you watched it, and I hope you take something from my videos, or you're just sort of interested in what I'm saying, because it is interesting. As a side note, if you're in England, I absolutely encourage you to take some proper cross-country road trips and go on some proper British country roads. Since getting back to the UK this last couple of weeks, I've been literally going all over the country, hence why I've not been posting very much. And I got a National Trust membership to go to some old houses. I think it was like £12 a month. Very, very cheap. And I've been to several already, and I've been to loads over the years. The other day I went to Wimpole in Cambridgeshire, and it was fantastic. Really, really fantastic. I wouldn't normally say I went to a really good National Trust property, but basically this one was just blew my mind. So I just encourage you to at least Google it and do it. It's the coolest thing, and it's just really special. And the nice weather, I've seen some of the best roads I've ever seen ever this last week. And yeah, I really just encourage you all to go out and just go for a drive, especially if you've got an MG4. As a side note, can anybody recommend a solar panel installer for my house in Australia? The roof needs going over, like I said a while ago, to make sure that it's ready for panels, and then I need basically a full system installing. So if you know anybody that would be able to do that, it's at the top of New South Wales, just west of Byron Bay. Please let me know. I'm keen to get some quotes, preferably with a hybrid inverter but no battery, just in case I ever want to chuck some batteries on it. But no battery from whoever supplies it, just the inverter and solar panels, and I guess you need a license to install that on the house as opposed to off the house. So also possibly a roofer as well, if anyone knows any good roofers up in that neck of the woods that can work on a tin roof to just bring it back to life but not replace it. So please send me an email in the to the email address that's in the description, and you can find that there. That'd be really nice. I know that's a bit random, but it would really help if there was some recommendations, you know. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and possibly the next video is about BYD. I just need to do some more research and check my emails and see if I've got an email back from them, because basically they've been saying in England the BYD Seagull is on the cards for the UK, which I think a lot of people expected, obviously. But now there's actually conversations being had with BYD in the UK about it, and they're saying they're really keen to have it in the UK. So yeah, until the next video, possibly in so many hours' time, if I can get that sorted for you. Otherwise, tomorrow.